Hello my friends. I'm making a magnetic hatch cover for my kayak. I'm using rare earth magnets. This is how I did it. I'm making the channel for the weather gasket, and what I'm doing is I'm cutting these strips, and I know the distance that I need, a 1/2 inch here, and I have, this is my marking gauge, and I use this to mark the inside edge and also the gasket line. Works much better than a compass, at least I find out, that or dividers. You hold the lead in there and you keep the stick pointing at the radius of the arc. We get a nice dark line. I can cut that on my bandsaw and sand it to the line, and it'll be precise. Here's the glue up for the weather seal. This trough here is where the foam seal is going to be placed, and the reason this is raised is this is going to hold the rare earth magnets, and the two magnets are going to be touching each other. That's what this raised area is for, so that we have room for a seal and still allows the magnets to touch. These are rare earth magnets. They're very powerful little guys. Show you how strong they are. These are what's going to hold the hatch cover on. They know where they want to go. They want to seek that other magnet. And what I'm doing, I'm laying these out so that I can set the location where I want them permanent. So I'm using one magnet underneath, one on top. They're holding in the right location. It will take about 20 magnets, 10 on the kayak, 10 on the hatch. And this ridge that I put in here, this is to hold the magnets flush so that they touch the magnets that's in the hatch cover, and it won't collapse the foam. I left 1/8 of an inch, so the foam is 3/16, so it gives 1/16 of an inch of crushing of the foam. Okay, those magnets are in approximate location, and I'll mark those and drill them out. When you buy these magnets, they come in a case that's padded, and one thing that can destroy a magnet is a physical shock. So that's why they're padded and come like that. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch Forstner bit. This is a Forstner bit. What it does is it drills a nice clean surface. It doesn't do a lot of tear out, and it can allow me to drill a flat hole to hold the magnet. Now, these holes I'm going to go all the way through, and the reason for that is I'm going to use the hole to make a perfect alignment onto the lid so that the magnets will line up perfectly. So I'll set this on the mark. Also, when you drill through, you have tear out. So to avoid the tear out, you clamp a sacrificial board. Each time you move the board, you want it to be in a different location so that the board is flush up against where the hole is coming through. Right there. Clean hole. That hole will be the alignment for drilling into the lid, the hatch cover. So there's the hole. We shift it to a new location, secure the clamp, and drill the hole. Holes are all drilled. Now we have to mark the lid, and what I'll do is, because we used a saw, we removed material, so I'm going to center the lid, and then I'll tape it into position. Now we turn the kayak over. And I'm going to put my support under the middle because I'll be pushing down. So it's easier for me to move the kayak. There we go. Now we're ready to mark these holes. We want to be real careful that we do not drill through these. So I'm going to drill enough that will just go through the glass that's on the underside, and that'll have the holes marked. Okay, last inspection, make sure went through the glass. All the holes are marked. Now we've drawn an 1/8 inch deep, that's how thick the magnets are, and we'll glue the magnets in. Now with this, you want to be comfortable. Drill a little at a time, and then check the depth by using one of the magnets. And when you get it flush, stop your drilling, because there's no going back if you drill all the way through. You'll be making dots on the other side. Flush. Okay, with this Forstner bit, the point, I ground the tip of it off. It was extending down about 1/16 of an inch below the cutting edge, and the wood that I'm working with is 1/4 inch, and then after it's been sanded, it's probably down to close to 3/16. And the thickness of this magnet is 1/8, so that leaves about 1/16 of an inch of wood. And if that tip is 1/16 of an inch deeper, it would be poking the point down through the top of the hatch, and this way I have that safety margin of 1/16 of an inch. Here I'm using quickset epoxy. And the reason I'm using this is I can work quicker. I don't have to stop to wait for it to cure. trying to work quick because I don't know how quick this will set up on me. It does set up pretty quick at times. As soon as it starts setting up, you have to stop using it. Make sure you push it all the way down so that magnet lays in there flush. It has to lay all the way down. The direction of the magnet really doesn't matter. I'm trying to be consistent, but I might lose track. So you could have one in with the north facing the opposite direction that the other ones do. And that's not a problem because when you set the magnets on the underside, it will jump into the location that it wants. This is my last one because I can feel the epoxy setting up, and I'll have to mix a new batch to finish the others. To assure that these magnets stay in, I'm glassing a piece of fiberglass across them. And I'll be doing the same with the magnets that will be on the deck of the kayak. And the epoxy I'm using here is not the fast cure. So I have work time with this one. The fast cure, the epoxy was still a little bit sticky, which worked out great because the little pads that I cut stuck right on there. The reason I wet this was now I am going to apply a piece of glass over the holes. And we want to saturate the glass. Okay, next we're going to put plastic over this area. That's so that the epoxy won't stick. Now I'm going to tape that on. I want to make sure I pull it down tight. Now we turn it over. This is, we don't know whether the magnets are north or south, so we just drop them in there, and you could not put them in the wrong way. It just jumps and pulls them right out of your hand. Okay, now these magnets are now sitting on the pieces of glass that I put in there, and it's wetted, so it should bond to the magnet. And now I'm going to fill these, I'm going to mix up a putty and fill the holes with the epoxy putty. And then at that point I can glass over top of all this. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.